Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. So the beginning of the week was a little bit quiet. I mean, we had the Sun squared Neptune on Monday, so we kind of all felt a little bit aloof. We had the day off, and I know here in Pennsylvania, we've had another day off, and then a 2-hour delay today, and some people have had another day off. So those with kids, I'm sending you prayers. But the beginning of week felt a little aloof, a little miss, not really wanting to take action towards anything, kind of just spacey a little bit. Yesterday we felt that energy, and today should feel a little bit more clear. Now, let's get ready for tomorrow and into the weekend. Thursday the 18th, Mercury will sextile Saturn, and the moon will move into Taurus, and a lot's going to be happening with the moon action. We got it sextile Saturn, trines Mercury, conjuncts Jupiter, trines Mars. Then on Friday the 19th, Mercury will trine Jupiter in Venus, will square Neptune. And then on Saturday, the Sun will begin in Aquarius season, but as it's moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius, it will conjunct Pluto. So that's kind of the vibe for this week. Now, how are my mutable signs? Besides myself with a lot of mutable sign placements, anyone with a mutable sign, which is my Geminis, my Virgos, my Sagittarius, my Pisces, we're going through it. And the more mutable placements you have, the more you're going through it. That's what happens when Saturn moves into the angular houses of either the fixed, the cardinal, or the mutable. If you remember, for 2.5 years, all my fixed signs were going through it. You know, my Leos, my Scorpios, the Aquariuses, the Tauruses, you guys were really going through it. Now, I mean, everyone kind of can go through it throughout the year, but there's just like this continuing, Saturnine type of energy. And again, so the more mutable energy planets you have, the more you're going to be feeling this. I have like 8 mutable planet energies, which is why it's easy to be around me. But right now, it's tough. I'm really going through it. And a lot of the people I've been connecting with all tend to have a lot of mutable planets, and they're all really going through it. For instance, if Saturn moved in my 7th house, and it squares it goes opposite where I have a Virgo moon and a Virgo rising, and then it squares my Mercury, my Sun, my Chiron, all in Gemini. I got a Mars in Pisces. So since it moved into my 7th house, like a lot of you guys have known that have listened to this, the Saturn will bring extra responsibilities, hardened responsibilities, sacrifices you have to make. And I've been really going through it with the relationships in my life. And I don't really mean romantic. I mean all different kinds. A lot of people I've had to sacrifice a lot of life for. I've had to give and give and give. And it's definitely been sort of challenging because that's just how it is. And the reflection. So I don't know. I still feel like I'm entering 2024 exhausted. I know my other mutable signs are too. We got a good solid 20 months left of this. It will ebb and flow. And the end of this will be the cake. The end of this, when we get out of all of this mess, swimming out of this hole, we will be more open, we'll be smarter, we'll be wiser, we will be stronger, we will be more spiritually evolved, we will have all the wisdom, blah, 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 blah. All that shit that makes this all worth it. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Okay, so let's get into it. Like I said on Monday, we probably felt a little more tired. Same with yesterday. There was a light detachment, maybe a positive pause, and mentally separating, yourself from a problem in order to kind of feel a second look. So I don't know if that energy played out for any of you yesterday or Monday. Now let's get into Thursday's action of this weekend. So Thursday, Mercury will sextile Saturn. Being open to more ways of thinking outside the box, especially when dealing with current problems. So that I really enjoy. Mercury sextile Saturn. So we got Mercury in Capricorn, and Mercury in Capricorn is especially now that retrograde is over, it's like it understands the plan. It knows how to move forward. It knows what's happening with the sextile to Saturn and Pisces. Again, with Saturn and Pisces, we become a little more open. We think a little bit more outside the box, especially when dealing, like I said, with current problems. So you might have just a nice open awareness and have a brand new idea where you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it that way. This will be building an important boundary for the future. gaining a deeper understanding with something that you can't physically explain. I know that a lot of my Capricorn placements, there's a lot about like they want to only understand what they can see, what they can explain, what they can feel, what they can touch. And with Saturn in Pisces, Capricorn's ruler, and again, this Mercury and sextile, there's a little more opening to that. Okay, going a little deeper. Maybe I can go a little bit deeper down the wormhole of theory and expand my mind on things that maybe I can't quite put my physical touch on, And again, I want to go back to building an important boundary for the future. Saturn in Pisces is dissolving boundaries as well as building boundaries for people who don't have them. So this can be with Mercury and Capricorn, like really making a strong hold on your mind and building an important boundary for your future because you know that you need it. Getting serious about something in your life again or taking it serious, that's something, again, getting serious about this. Maybe you kind of had a workout plan and you were off to the races like a lot of us were, not working out over the holiday season, and now you're feeling like you're ready to take something serious again. Breaking through with communication, supported with letting go of feeling supported when you're letting go of something you've been holding on to for way too long. You've been holding on to that idea, that person, that place, that thing, that pattern inside of you, or that belief within yourself, or that belief you have of yourself, and now you're ready to let that go. Releasing responsibilities is one, like releasing ones, and that could be very good. Maybe you just no longer have that responsibility, and that frees you of a lot in your mind, body, and soul. So releasing responsibilities, and again, supported when letting go of something you've been holding on for way too long. Breaking through with communication. So I'm excited about this, especially if you are feeling like you've been holding on to something. Maybe you hold on to that resentment, that anger, that idea of this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. So there's a lot to that too being said with this transit with Mercury and Capricorn, because Mercury likes to be flexible. And I don't know if you know people, especially my fixed signs, my more cardinal signs, you'll be like, this is who I am. This is who I stand for. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm doing. And it's okay if that switches. You don't have to be tied to this persona or this pattern or this idea of who you are and what you believe in and all those things. Those can switch up. Those can change. Maybe an idea or the way you looked at something at 21 isn't really working now that you're 30, or maybe now that you're at 40 and now at 50. You get what I'm saying? So breaking through and letting go of this idea of, or, this pattern or this just thing inside of you that you really thought was important to hold on to, and maybe it's actually not. Sometimes when we don't budge, when we don't move our ideas, when we don't move our patterns, when we hold on to something, that can actually become our detriment, right? Because everything is changing around us constantly, always. And sometimes when you hold on and you refuse to change your theories or your ideas or your mind or your actions, you actually get held back and you're not moving towards the future and how those things are. So I think that's going to be a lot of the energy for Thursday well into the weekend. Then on Friday, starting out the weekend, like I said, Mercury trine Jupiter. So I'm really excited. Both of them in the earth, grounded, energy in those two earth sides. So solid money or abundance coming through, deeper understanding in your happiness or feeling like you're finally, deeper understanding into your happiness, or you're feeling like you're finally achieving it, or you're on the road to achieving happiness, or you're on the road to like, this is what's going to bring me the ultimate happiness for right now in my life, or this will lead me to even simple happiness right now in my life. Again, solid money and abundance coming through. Holla. So if you're due some money, that should be coming, especially for my earth placements. Feeling solid about your love for someone. Maybe you're crushing, maybe you're, weren't sure how much you love someone, or maybe you're into it and you're feeling a little more solid for that. You're feeling like, yeah, I'm ready to build a foundation with this person. General mental positive growth, especially for all my earth signs. I'm loving this for a positive growth. Purposeful action, and bringing or implementing more grounded awareness instead of recklessness. So I think this weekend we're going to be getting some truth. We're going to be getting those earth sign truths this weekend, especially when Venus in Capricorn squares Neptune and Pisces. So again, bringing or implementing more of that grounded awareness instead of recklessness. You know, coming out of Sagittarius season, especially with it being squared Saturn and Pisces right now, we definitely got a little bit of, you know, my mutable signs too, a little bit reckless, a little bit all over the place. Maybe some of us partied too much or got too wild in some way. So, you know, bringing more awareness instead of saying, hey, or even like how many times do you have these patterns where you just continue to do it, even though you bring even though it brings chaos, it brings recklessness inside of you. Our body, our mind, it gets addicted to what it knows. Even if it gives us a bad outcome every time, it doesn't know that because we keep seeking it over and over and over again. So, you know, you get the awareness to then take the actual action steps, because awareness is the first step. After you have the awareness, you actually have to take action towards changing something. You have to take action. And it's annoying because when you first gain awareness, that's all you see. You're like, oh my God, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Because that's what happens. Each time your brain you're pulling each time and all the different levels of that awareness out of your subconscious. You're pulling each level out and you see it, and it's important to then, that's when we get the chance to do something different. That's when we get to the chance to do something different. That's the time we get to think something different. Every time we're getting this awareness into this annoying little habit or thing that we do. I'm excited for that. I know we can all start the year off with some positive mental growth. Venus in Capricorn square Neptune in Pisces. So this could be a little bit tough. Not hard tough, but really just kind of, you know, fed up with, Venus in Sagittarius. I don't know why I wrote Venus in Capricorn earlier. Sorry, Venus in Sagittarius, because Venus doesn't even move into Capricorn until January 23rd. So I'm like, what am I doing? I guess just my mind still being all over the place. So Venus in Sagittarius, square Neptune and Pisces. So this can bring, again, you're ready with Mercury trine Jupiter to get a little more serious, bring some more grounded, authentic, real, genuine energy. And so Venus then squaring Neptune, Venus in Sag squaring Neptune and Pisces, is then going to kind of evaluate or really show you other places that maybe you need to get a little more grounded with. And so that can always be a little bit tricky, but fed up with someone's lies or lack of solidness, breakthroughs around relationship status, you know, about breakthroughs within that, whether that's like you're kind of breaking up and saying, okay, I don't want this, or you're becoming a little more solid and saying, we've been just loosey-goosey in this relationship, so, you know, maybe we need to, it can come with an uncomfortable conversation, but like maybe we need to get serious now. Feeling or finally seeing the truth around relationships, friendships, and how it can't, you know, and how it can really be in some ways, you know, detrimental, or maybe like how easy it is to get caught up. When we get caught up in someone's energy, we drop the truth. We kind of can ignore the truth. We don't really kind of see it. We see it in rose-colored glasses, especially when we're having that chemically induced connection with someone. And it doesn't just mean romantic. It can absolutely mean friendship. Have you ever had a friend and you meet them and then you're like, oh my God, I just want to talk and spend with this person 24/7. Feeling restricted when it comes to love, joy, or intimacy, getting sober, quote unquote, from something. This transit really, you know, kind of rang to me to be true about getting sober. Sober, it doesn't mean like getting sober from alcohol. It could, or weed, or cocaine, or whatever else it is. It could just mean something you're doing too much of. Maybe you are, you know, watching too much porn and it's just not good for your energy anymore. Or maybe you're shopping too much, or any of those things, you know. So it's like, again, I put in quotations when I wrote this all down when I was sitting and channeling my notes, but like, quote unquote, getting sober from something. Even someone. It could be an intoxication where you're like, you know, addicted to someone's sex and their energy and that sort of love chase, that chaotic chase a little bit. And no longer interested in something. Again, I say something because it's such an umbrella of many things with this transit with Venus, you know, and Neptune. With Venus, it's our love, our beauty, our pleasures, our sexuality, you know, our romance. So a lot falls under that umbrella. So no longer interested in something. It's fading away. It wore off. You don't really need that anymore. You don't really need that escape anymore. So there's a lot about tying in and removing those things that we're constantly trying to escape from. It's like not working. That's what happens. So that's what happens with everything, because your mind, your body needs more of it, no more of it. Again, and that is, everything is a drug. We use everything as a drug. There's something with our mind that as soon as we get something we like, we want more. Some are better than others. You know, my mutable placements have a harder time of stopping once they like something, but some definitely are better than others. So hopefully you guys get a little more insight, and it's smooth. It's not something that comes shocking. Hopefully it comes like, yeah, I kind of knew it, but now I needed the extra clarity to move forward from this. So that is the theme for the week, for the weekend. Do I have, oh yeah, I have a little bit more, I forgot. So Aquarius season begins this weekend, and my son on Monday, he turns 10. I can't believe it, a whole fucking decade. I've kept a child alive for a whole decade. It's been incredible, really. What a journey. And I had him young, and I feel like I've grown so much. We've like grown up together, kind of, and that's pretty cool. And he's helped me become the best version of me. That's the truth. Every day I look to see like how I can show up as a better parent, as a better, you know, role model, friend, confidant, all of those things. And I couldn't do that without my children. So the sun, like I said, will conjunct Pluto on its way into Aquarius this weekend. So that can bring first, you know, the first day or two can feel very heavy, deep, cathartic, especially for my Aquarius Capricorn placements. You are going to have some sort of spirit cleanse, or like a bust open, if you get what I'm saying there. You're going to bust through, and it could come through just like, oh my God, I don't want to take this anymore, and crying, or just feeling like really heavy energy weighing on you. The general, we can feel that, or feel in the collective with us, but I think my Aquarius Capricorn placements are going to be feeling this the most. And trust those emotions that are coming out of you. They're cathartic. They're meant to be removed. They're meant to leave. They're meant to keep just push out of there. And then free yourself from something that's been holding back your spirit. Again, that spirit is the sun, you know, the moon is the soul, but that spirit, something that's been holding you down, something that's been blocking you from shining to your brightest, you're going to get a little more awareness and feel, you know, or maybe even remove it altogether. Some of you might feel strong about making changes to the world. I feel like we feel that anytime we're going into Aquarius season. If you know Aquariuses, they root for the underdog. They want to make things fair. They want to help out. So right away, especially in Pluto, when it conjuncts Pluto, you might feel like, oh my God, I see the darkness in the world and I want to make it better. And then when it moves into Aquarius, you're like, okay, I'm ready to make some changes. Now your idea might be like, big changes, and that's fine if you want to go protest. I'm not a protester. I never have, never will be. That's fine, because the whole world can't be protesters, or no one would be getting shit done. But, you know, that's okay. That's okay if you're a protester, but maybe you're not a protester like me. And so, but you're feeling like you want to make a change, but how we make the best change. Okay, I know, you know, some people, I guess, could go out there and be in the government and strive to make these ginormous changes. But instead of just complaining about it or worrying about it or doing these changes you want to, implement change in something very small, something around you. We can't change the world, but we can change the world by changing that in our own personal world and helping someone within us. So if you're feeling compelled to help in a big scale, and it might seem overwhelming or like, how really are you going to do that? Maybe start with something small, okay? Start with someone in your life, someone you cross, something that you can do to make a small positive change, because that's really how we create the big change. If everybody listening to this podcast, if all of my neighbors, everybody in the world made a joint effort to make a small little change within themselves, with someone, to help someone small, that's how we change the world. That's how we make the world a more, you know, a better place. And that's how we make John Lennon happy. We just want peace on earth. You might be overcome with the passion of a change again, like I said. We also search for answers a little bit. We want to know why, the whens, the whys, the whos, the whats during this. And it can bring a little more, or we might also look for something to bring a little more shock value. You know, we got that Uranus coming up with the sun, you know, being in Aquarius. So there's like a little bit of shock value and feeling a little more rebellious. And also, you know, in general, want to be just a little bit more rebellious in your day-to-day, in your life, or like just feeling that energy come on easily. And problem solving by thinking outside the box. That's going to be a big one. So my big problem solvers, y'all are going to be thinking outside the box. Okay, thank you, everyone. I just want to remind everyone the best way to support this podcast is to send this to a friend, rate, review it, subscribe. Those are all the best ways to support this podcast. And I still have been, you know, we still got the Saturn squared my sun. So I just have zero. I mean, we're going on 5 months now of zero energy to do social media, really, the way I was. Zero. Besides, my life is very chaotic right now, and I had to simplify it as much as I can. It's not simple at all. That's one of the things I took out. I even did like a TikTok a couple weeks ago, I guess when Mercury retrograde was coming, and it was great, and then I haven't done one since then. I just have no energy. So again, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But for those who really care about astrology, you'll find my podcast, and they'll listen to my podcast. Thank you all. I love you, and I hope you have a beautifully grounded day and week.